Hello friends, welcome to Reading Bunnies. We're going to read about the book Ozzie Goes to School, written by Jocelyn Crabb, illustrated by Snell. Ozzie lived with his dad in a shipping container on the beach. Every morning, he and his dad ran along the high tide line searching for treasure. There were fantastic rocks and shells to collect, and almost always Ozzie found something someone had lost. The best treasures were the fishing lures. Ozzie wasn't afraid of anything at the beach. Ozzie wasn't afraid of hard work either. Every morning he made his bed and swept out the container. Later, he gathered driftwood to make a fire for afternoon tea. Ozzie wasn't afraid of the dark. It's really dark inside the container when the door is closed. But I like it because it's nice and cool. Ozzie wasn't afraid of snakes. They won't bother you if you don't bother them. Ozzie wasn't even afraid of crocodiles. My dad and I always check for crocs when we're on the beach, and we never go too close to the water. But Ozzie was afraid of something. Ozzie was afraid of school. He'd never been before. I don't want to go to school, he told Dad. Who will go fishing with you if I'm not here? Who will get wood for the fire? His dad just smiled. You have to go to school, son. You need to learn to read and write. So Ozzie promised to give it a go, but just for 1 week. On Monday, the teacher, Miss Jocelyn, asked Ozzie to tell everyone his news for news time. Ozzie was scared. What was Miss Jocelyn thinking? That he'd be crazy enough to get up in front of this strange mob and talk? And before it was even time for recess, Ozzie ran home. On Tuesday, Ozzie and Dad got up early. Together, they found a great lure and caught an enormous barramundi. I reckon this will make good news, said Dad. And it did. But then, right after news time, Miss Jocelyn said it was time for maths. Ozzie was scared. He didn't know about much numbers. He didn't know how to do takeaway or multiplication. And before Miss Jocelyn could even start to explain, Ozzie ran home. On Wednesday, Dad took Ozzie to school. During maths, Ozzie played with the blocks. He worked out how many were needed to make a box big enough to hold a barramundi. After recess, it was reading time. Ozzie was scared. He didn't know how to read. Wasn't that why Dad said he had to go to school? And before anyone could even get a book out, Ozzie ran home. On Thursday, things went pretty well. Ozzie brought his best fishing lures to show the class for news time. In maths, Miss Jocelyn let him write numbers on a white board with her special big blue marker. And at reading time, she read a book about barramundi to the whole class. Ozzie liked listening to stories. He even learned some of the words himself. He liked news time too. Some of the kids did very cool stuff. He liked playing with the blocks and drawing pictures. He liked recess and lunch and the new friends he'd made. Ozzie wasn't afraid of school anymore. And so, on Friday, Ozzie ran to school.